Hey, so welcome to this yoga, breathing and mindfulness meditation practice for beginners. So during this practice, you'll be guided for around 30 minutes. We'll start with the physical yoga, moving dynamically the body through some salutations. And then we'll come to sit for some breath work. And finally, lie down and relax for our body scan and meditation. I'm Irene, a yoga and mindfulness teacher, and excited to guide you through this practice today. So when you're ready, you can find your way to the front of the mat. So you can begin either with the feet together or slightly apart. And then we'll start immediately to move through these sun salutations. So you can use the inhale to reach the arms up and over the head. And then on the exhale, slowly folding forward, and here bending the knees as much as you need. Inhaling, then seeing if you can lengthen halfway up, so lengthening through the legs. Arms can slide up here. And then on the exhale, bend through the knees, drop the hands down and stepping your way back to that plank pose. So really getting nice and strong through your plank. Using the exhale to drop through the knees, lowering down with the chest and chin. Inhaling, then reaching the chest forward for your cobra pose. And then press back through the hands. And coming to a child's pose. So knees can be a little wider, toes together. And just slowly from here, relaxing the head down. If this doesn't feel too comfortable, you could have the hips a little higher or place some sort of support, maybe a blanket or towel under the knees. And doing your best to really relax the head down. And seeing if you can bring here your focus to your breathing. Staying here, one more breath. And then you can use, when you're ready, the next inhale to slowly come through the hands and knees. Now we're keeping the hands heavy, tucking the toes, and then using that next inhale to slowly press the hips up and back, coming to that first downward dog. Now we're just going to transition here through the pose, but you can already really allow, if you like, the heels to lift, bend the knees if hamstrings are feeling a little tighter. And then knees can stay bent as you slowly walk the feet forward. And at one point, if you need, the hands can start to lift, using the inhale then to lengthen through the legs as you lift the chest halfway up. And then on the exhale, bending the knees and folding forward. Inhale, reach the arms high. See if you can look all the way up. And exhaling, lowering the arms back down. So we'll continue this a few more rounds. Inhale again, reach the arms high, looking up. And exhale, folding forward. See if you can keep the belly firm as you fold. Inhale, then lengthen halfway up, gazing forward. Exhale, hands drop down. Again, arms want to be heavy, belly firm as you come to that plank. You can lower again the knees slowly down. Try to keep elbows close as you lower down to the belly. Inhaling, legs stay heavy as you come to that cobra. And then exhale, coming back again to child's pose. Allowing as best as you can the spine to stay nice and long. Arms can be a little active, so in sort of place of having the elbows on the ground, you could have the elbows lifted, hands heavy. And then seeing with every exhale if you can draw the weight of the hips back towards your heels. Staying here, one more breath. And then use that next inhale to transition through the hands and knees, tucking the toes, so pressing the weight of the hips back. Hands stay nice and heavy as you lift the hips up and back for that downward dog. And again, just pausing here for a breath. You want to allow here, like in the child's pose, the spine to be long. And if that feels uncomfortable with the legs straight, just again allow that small bend through the knees. Staying here, one more breath. And then slowly walking the feet forward on your inhale. And then see if you can lengthen the chest, again sliding the arms up the legs. Exhaling as you fold back forward, knees can bend. Inhale, reaching the arms again high as you look up. And exhaling, lowering the arms back down. Again, reaching the arms high on your inhale. And exhale, slowly folding forward over the legs. Inhale, reaching again the chest halfway up. And exhale, hands come heavy as you come back to your plank pose. Now see if you can keep the legs active here. As you lower down, keep that belly nice and firm. And then use the inhale to reach your chest forward and up. Exhale, pressing back. Coming once more to your child's pose. See if you can keep the breath smoothly moving through the nose. Really allowing here the muscles in the face to soften and relax. And if you want to kind of feel that opening in the shoulders a little more, you could always play with creeping the arms a little forward. Allowing arms to be long here. If this feels too much, either in the knees or in the upper body, you could always bring the arms just that little bit closer. And again, have the chest that little bit more lifted up. So on that next inhale, slowly again coming up to your hands and knees, tucking the toes and pressing the hips up and back to your downward dog. So the body starts to get a little warmer. You might draw a little bit more weight back towards the legs. And then on that inhale, coming all the way again forward to the front of the mat. Opening the chest halfway up as you breathe in. And exhale, folding back forward over the legs. Inhale, reach the arms high. See if you can look up. And exhaling, lowering the arms back down. Okay, continuing again. Inhale, sweep the arms high. Look up. And exhale, slowly folding forward over the legs. Inhale, lengthening the chest halfway up. Exhale, hands come heavy from here. Coming straight again back to your plank pose. Maybe seeing if you can pause one breath in, one breath out in that plank. And then lower down on the exhale to the belly. Inhale, maybe lifting the chest a little bit more forward and up on that inhale. And then exhale, pressing through hands and knees. And this time we'll come straight to that downward dog. So you can lift the hips up. This time we'll be staying a few breaths in the downward dog. So again, as you need, slightly bending the knees. See if you can draw the weight from the front of the thighs back towards the back of the legs. So there's this real feeling of not having the weight forward in the arms, but drawing it all the way back, away from the arms and into the legs. Staying here, one more breath. And then you can slowly walk the feet forward on that inhale. Opening again the chest halfway up, maybe lean a little forward to your toes. Exhaling to fold forward. Reach the arms high as you breathe in. And exhaling, lowering the arms back down. And from here, we're going to come towards a seated position. So in this seated position, you could take a cross-legged position like I'm doing, or you could, if you preferred, take more this kneeling position. Can also be quite nice for the thighs. And if it's not so comfortable just sitting on the floor, feel free to lift the hips a little by sitting on some sort of cushion or block. So once you're sitting comfortably, you can just rest the hands on the thighs and just taking a moment to close the eyes. Once the eyes are closed, you can be sinking the weight of the hips down. Seeing if you can allow the shoulders to stack right above your hips and lengthen up out through the spine. Hips can be heavy, hands can be nice and heavy here. And once you're in this sort of comfortable, pretty upright position, you can start to bring your focus towards your breathing. So at first, just noticing the fact that you're breathing. If you can feel the air moving in and out through the nose. And we'll be slowly working towards the Ujjayi breath. So first finding that kind of foundation of breathing through the nose, nice and steady. And then we'll be working gradually on lengthening the breath and on this technique of the back of the throat that we need to find that Ujjayi breath. So first just allowing that breath to move steadily through the nose. And seeing if you can really allow that inhale and that exhale to equalize. There's this feeling that the inhale length is pretty similar to the exhale length. And you might sort of test that out by bringing a slight count to the breath. Maybe counting in for 3 or 4. And then seeing if you can count out for 3 or 4. And if it feels comfortable for you to have that breath slightly longer or shorter, just finding a count that feels comfortable for your breath capacity. So once we've sort of established this steady rhythm to the breath, you've got this nice equal length to the breath, we're now starting to also find the thing that really makes this Ujjayi breath and technique special. And that's really this feeling also of constricting around the back of the throat. So one of the kind of simple ways you can kind of think of it, it's almost as if Imagining as if you wanted to breathe out your mouth and steam up in mirrors. There's this kind of feeling of the lips kind of purse. There's this feeling of the air moving. You might feel a slight contraction on the back of the throat. And just seeing a few times if you can breathe in slowly just through the nose. And then breathing out through the mouth as if you want to steam up that window or glass. Breathing again in through the nose. Exhaling out through the mouth, again as if you want to steam up that window. And then trying this one more time, inhaling through the nose. And exhaling out of the mouth as if you want to steam up that window. And we're going to kind of repeat this a few times, and this time you want to still be finding that same feeling on the exhale, but seeing if you can do that through breathing through the nose rather than the mouth. So inhaling slowly through the nose. Exhale out of the nose, but slightly constrict the throat and sort of imagining that same sensation as if you're steaming up that glass. Inhaling again through the nose. Exhale out of the nose, but with that slight sound, that slight warmth. And just trying that one more time. Inhale through the nose. And exhaling out of the nose, again trying to find that warm sound. Almost as if again you want to steam that glass up with your nose. And then taking a few rounds, seeing if you can find that same quality on the inhale as we've been working on the exhale. So inhaling through the nose. And exhaling from the nose. Sound can be nice and soft. Inhale again through the nose. And exhale through the nose. Just trying this one more time. Inhale through the nose. And exhale from the nose. And then we're just going to continue a couple more minutes with this breathing technique. Really trying to find that consistency now. So if you're more familiar with the Ujjayi breath, you can work a little bit on still keeping that sound and warmth to the breath, but at the same time trying to find that softness. And wanting softness around the jaw, around the eyes. And if you're sort of more beginner with that technique, just doing your best to still keep the breath smooth, not feeling that there's any sort of forcing happening with that breath. But at the same time, seeing if you can sort of allow that warmth and heat to come from the back of the throat. We'll just continue another minute or so on this breathing. Still checking every now and then your posture. There's slight changes you can make to sit up more comfortably while you keep watching that steady Ujjayi breath. And if it is feeling difficult to bring the sound there, to find that sort of contraction of the throat while still maintaining kind of that softness, do feel free to just breathe in and out of the nose without sound. So this can be a great place also to start with your breathing. And then over time you can play a little bit more with that sound of the breath. So staying here 5 more rounds of breathing. And at the end of the next exhale, you can just find your way to lying on the back. So we'll come to our third part. We're coming to a body scan meditation. So you can just lie down in Shavasana. So feet falling open, palms facing up. And if the room that you're in is slightly cooler, you could always take a jumper here or a blanket. And if you do need any sort of props to make yourself more comfortable, you could always place some sort of folded blanket under the head. Or if there's tension in the lower back, you could just place some sort of bolster under the knees. And then when you are sort of lying comfortably on the back, allowing the eyes to close. Weight of the body can be nice and heavy, dropping into the ground. And you can just allow the natural breath to come back, so dropping away any techniques or control from the breathing. And for this body scan, we'll be starting bringing awareness down to the tips of the toes. So feeling slowly the tips of all 10 toes. Noticing maybe temperature of the toes. There's other sensations of tingling, throbbing. And then seeing if you can bring the awareness from the toes towards the soles of your feet. So feeling balls of the feet, heels. Noticing maybe heels connected to the ground. And then scanning the attention around to the tops of your feet. And finally seeing if you can feel your feet and your toes as one area. Bringing awareness now away from your feet and towards your ankles. So feeling the inside of the ankle, the outside. Maybe any feelings associated with the ankle. So gradually bringing your focus up through the legs. Feeling the front of the shins, back of the thighs. Maybe there's tightness or tingling. Maybe you can feel also the sensations of the clothes against your skin. Gradually bringing the focus up towards the knees. So feeling the back of the knees, feeling the front side of your knees, and maybe feeling inside and outside. And then you can gradually scan your awareness up through the top of your thighs. So feeling the front side of the thighs and the quadriceps. And then seeing if you can feel the back, upper part of the leg. Maybe feeling hamstrings. Connection again, perhaps, to the ground. And then from the thighs, you can bring the awareness up to your hips. Seeing if you can feel both legs as one area. And from here, drawing that focus around your pelvis, around the back of the hips. Again, maybe noticing that connection of back of the hips on your ground. From the hips, you can bring the awareness up towards the lower part of the belly. And then also feeling middle and upper area of the belly and abdomen. Noticing if there's tightness or tension there. And maybe seeing if you can feel the breath moving as you breathe down to your belly. Awareness can also scan around the lower part of your back, feeling the lower back, an area that sometimes we can have tension. Noticing maybe more subtle movements of the breath in the lower back. And then gradually bringing focus up towards the middle part of the back. Scanning around the sides of the body, so feeling sides of your rib cage. And then up towards the front of the rib cage. And maybe noticing movement here of your breath. You can scan slightly further up towards the chest. And then around the back, to the upper part of your back, back of the shoulders. And seeing if you can really feel the whole of the torso now as one area. From here, we're going to bring the focus down to the tips of the fingers. Slowly scanning up all 10 fingers. Noticing maybe sensations here, maybe tingling. And then you can gradually bring awareness to the back of your hands, front of the palms. Feeling both hands and fingers. And if you do notice that your mind has sort of wandered away from this body scan, just using the next moment to bring the awareness back. So each time that we notice that our focus has moved elsewhere, it gives us an opportunity to refocus back to sensations in our body. So you can bring that awareness now towards your wrists, slowly scanning up both arms in the direction of your elbows. And then from the elbows, scanning further up towards the shoulders. And seeing if you can take a moment to feel both arms as a whole. Further scanning up now through the neck and through your throat, reaching the chin, feeling your jawline, cheeks, mouth. Scanning further up the face to your nose, space around your eyes, space between the eyebrows, feeling the forehead, an area where we can hold sometimes tension. And then gradually bringing your awareness around the back of the head, your hairline, feeling head connected to the ground. And finally, bringing that awareness to the crown of the head. And then as you bring awareness back to the body, you can start to wiggle your fingers, maybe wiggling the toes, gradually waking the body back up. And then slowly, when you're ready, you can hug the knees one by one into your chest, rolling over onto one side. Pausing a moment on your side, and then gradually finding your way back to a seated position. So thanks for joining me through this practice. I hope you enjoyed it, really sort of taking the time fully for the yoga physical part of the practice, but also giving the breathing and the meditation really its own chance to focus on. I purposely kept this practice pretty simple with the idea that over time you can learn it and really just start to do it also without guidance. So give it a go, see if you can learn those sun salutations, the Ujjayi breath and the body scan. And let me know in the comments how you get on with also practicing on your own. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the Antara Yoga channel, and I'll see you in the next one.